My mom is forcing me to get married, threatening that if I marry before my brother, she'll give me half the family assets. If I never get married, I won't get a single cent. To inherit the family business, I decided to ask Qin Jun to fake marry me. Qin Jun, my ex-boyfriend from 2 years ago. When he learned about my plan, he immediately raised the price. This is my first marriage, you'll have to pay extra. When I called Qin Jun, he actually recognized my number and immediately launched into a string of profanities. Wen Yun, what the hell are you calling me for in the middle of the night? Did you get dumped? Only then did I remember to check the time. Oops, just 5 minutes until AM. I felt a little guilty. Have you already gone to bed, old man? Qin Jun didn't answer that question. Instead, he snapped, you'd better have a good reason. Even though he couldn't see me, I instinctively rubbed my nose. I've got a big opportunity for you, interested or not? As soon as I finished speaking, the line went dead. Qin Jun, that bastard, had hung up on me. I quickly called back, this time sounding just as fierce. Why did you hang up? I'm talking serious business here. Qin Jun's voice came through, tinged with sarcasm. I am not sure if you've been scammed or got sucked into a pyramid scheme, but out of the kindness of an acquaintance, I'll help you call the police. Hey, let me finish. I quickly explained in a few sentences how my mom was pressuring me to marry and that I was offering to pay him to attend a wedding banquet. After finishing, I summarized it for him. All you have to do is meet my parents once, then see my relatives at the wedding banquet, and meet my parents one more time afterward. Qin Jun laughed so hard on the other end it sounded like he was convulsing. After catching his breath, he said, "Oh, so my reputation isn't worth anything, huh? 66,000 can buy my lifelong innocence? You think I'm as dumb as you are? And if I marry you now, won't I be considered second-hand if I remarry later?" I couldn't think of anyone else reliable on such short notice, so I snapped, "Then what do you want?" There was a long silence on the other end before he finally retorted angrily, "This is my first marriage, you'll have to pay extra." Since we couldn't settle this over the phone, Qin Jun and I agreed to have dinner together the next day. Truthfully, Qin Jun and I hadn't seen each other since we broke up 2 years ago, right after graduation. After we split, he moved to another city for work. Now, during the New Year holidays, he happened to be back. Considering I was the one who broke up with Qin Jun and over the phone, at that I wore a pair of canvas shoes so I could run faster if he held a grudge and tried to hit me. We met at a hotpot restaurant. I was half an hour late, and by the time I arrived, Qin Jun had already ordered all the dishes. Even though we hadn't seen each other in a while, we were still connected on social media. Like how I knew he was single, and he knew I was working overtime until the 28th of the Lunar New Year. Qin Jun looked much more mature than before. He wasn't wearing a down jacket, just a sweater under a denim jacket. In the sub-zero temperatures of northern China, I blurted out, "Holy crap, aren't you cold?" Qin Jun looked utterly exasperated. After a long pause, he finally managed, "Wen Yun, can't you start a conversation properly after 2 years apart?" I grinned and tossed my scarf onto the chair. "Oh, so you want ceremony? Should I walk back in and start over? Consider that a rehearsal just now? Get lost." Qin Jun scowled as he dropped beef slices into the pot. I plopped into the chair and peeked at the dishes on the table, all my favorites. I shamelessly remarked, "You still remember what I like to eat?" "I'm impressed." Qin Jun casually replied, "Oh, I didn't know. These are just what my ex-girlfriend liked." He really knew how to push my buttons. I knew Qin Jun had dated a junior for a few months after we broke up. That little green tea had caused me plenty of trouble while Qin Jun and I were still together. I snorted, picked up a piece of fatty beef from the pot, and angrily chewed it as if it were his ex-girlfriend's flesh. Ignoring my murderous expression, Qin Jun got straight to the point. "If you want a share of the family assets, why not just find someone and really get married?" I'd thought about this before, but finding a husband isn't like shopping for groceries. You can't just pick the freshest one and pay up. I shook my head. Time is tight and the task is urgent. Where am I supposed to find someone now? My brother's getting married in June, so I'm running out of time. While cooking food in the pot, Qin Jun teased me. "What's there to worry about? You have the face of someone who'd rush into marriage." I snatched a tripe from under his chopsticks. "I might be naive, but I'm not stupid. What if I end up with someone who scams me out of my money?" Then, smugly, I added, "You're different, I can still scam some money out of you." Qin Jun rolled his eyes at me. That was actually true. Back in college, Qin Jun's monthly allowance was 3,000 RMB, and he spent at least 2,000 of it on me. He never hesitated over whether he should spend money on his girlfriend. I didn't feel awkward when he ignored me. While eating, I got back to business. So, are you going to marry me or not? I can raise the offer 10 RMB. Qin Jun still ignored me. Two girls at the next table were about to leave, staring at me in shock. I still had a piece of meat in my mouth. After chewing and swallowing, I overheard their conversation. Holy crap. That's intense. Is this a rich woman and her sugar baby? That guy's bag is Louis Vuitton. Maybe the girl's the one chasing him. True. But having money is great, you can even buy love. Good thing I wore these canvas shoes today. I stood up to confront them, but Qin Jun grabbed me. Sit down and eat. I protested. They insulted you. Qin Jun looked surprised, as if he couldn't believe what he'd heard. What did they say about me? Indignantly, I said, they called you a sugar baby. Qin Jun laughed in frustration and pulled me back into my seat. After 2 years apart, you've learned to be slick. Why didn't you mention they called you the desperate one? I pretended not to hear and focused on devouring my food. After an hour of my heartfelt persuasion, Qin Jun made an outrageous demand. 200 RMB. I nearly leaped out of my chair. Why don't you just rob a bank? Qin Jun wiped his mouth with a napkin. Robbing a bank is illegal. Furious, I stood up and wrapped my scarf around my neck, only to pull it too tight and choke myself. Qin Jun stood up to loosen it for me. It's only 200, no need to commit suicide. My face was flushed from the choking, and I couldn't think of a comeback. Outside the hotpot restaurant, Qin Jun lit a cigarette. You were the one who dumped me when we broke up. Consider this 200,000 compensation for emotional damages. I stood there, watching him walk away. The smoke he exhaled formed wisps of white mist in the cold winter night. Qin Jun. I couldn't help but call out to him. Qin Jun stopped and turned to look at me but didn't say anything. Stammering, I said, I drove here. Let me give you a ride home. As I led Qin Jun to my car, he spent the entire walk criticizing me. Finding a parking spot around here takes at least an hour. What gave you the courage to drive here? Holding up my fingers, I explained. The half hour I was late was spent looking for a parking spot. Qin Jun tapped my head. And you're proud of finding one in half an hour? I was proud, considering most people took at least an hour. When he saw my car with its crayon Shinchan decal, he started mocking me again. I ignored him, someone with no sense of whimsy, and opened the door to get into the passenger seat. Qin Jun laughed in exasperation. You're quite comfortable, aren't you? I pretended not to hear. Once in the car, I dug out 2 pieces of bubble gum and started chewing. I kicked off my shoes and propped my feet on the dashboard. Back in college, I had the same habit whenever I rode in Qin Jun's car. He'd complained a couple of times, but when I didn't change, he let it go. Now, seeing me like this, he didn't comment, just shot me a look and asked, why aren't you wearing socks? I liked wearing furry boots directly without socks, it felt more comfortable. Blowing a bubble, I said, bare feet are comfier. Qin Jun glanced at me but didn't say anything, focusing on driving. By the time Qin Jun parked the car at his apartment building, I had no idea how long I'd been asleep. When he got out, walked around, and unbuckled my seatbelt, I groggily woke up. Qin Jun tried to help me put on my coat. I lowered my feet, sat up straight, and rubbed my eyes. Where are we? Are you home? Qin Jun nodded and still attempted to help me with my coat. Now fully awake, I dodged. I can just climb into the driver's seat. I'm not getting out, so why bother with the coat? Qin Jun looked at me amused. You're going to sleep in the car all night? Huh? After putting on my coat and shoes and getting out of the car, I chased Qin Jun around the vehicle twice. You bastard, why didn't you tell me you live in the suburbs? Qin Jun stood a short distance away, spreading his hands. You didn't ask. You were the one so eager to give me a ride. I pulled up my phone to check how far this desolate, middle-of-nowhere place was from my home. Qin Jun moved closer. Don't bother checking. It's a 3-hour drive. I wanted to kill Qin Jun. 3 hours you could drive from Shanghai to Hangzhou in that time. This wasn't the suburbs. It was practically out of the province. Seeing how angry I was, Qin Jun took a few steps back, laughing. Don't be mad. My mom recently bought an expensive bag. I'll snag it for you, it's gorgeous, limited edition. Just released. Who could say no to money? But I still pointed at him and yelled. Why hasn't your mom beaten you to death yet, you little rascal? Qin Jun finally walked over, grinning. Why would she hit me when I'm paying for it? Come on, get in the car. I'll drive straight into the garage. I finally caught him and gave him a couple of playful slaps. You think you're clever, huh? You didn't park inside earlier. Qin Jun opened the passenger door for me. Yeah, I thought maybe you were a brave soul who could drive 3 hours straight, driving 3 hours in the middle of a winter night. I wasn't crazy. Qin Jun lived in a small townhouse. He lived here alone. As soon as I stepped inside, I was confused. Your mom doesn't live here? Then where's my bag? I'd met Qin Jun's mom many times in college. We still had each other on social media and exchanged greetings during holidays. Qin Jun tossed me a pair of new slippers. I owe you, since I was already inside. I couldn't just turn around and leave. While changing into the slippers, I threatened him. If you forget, I'll beat you up. I took the master bedroom, and Qin Jun took the guest room because I was thick-skinned, and the guest room hadn't been used in a while, so it smelled musty. Qin Jun's bedroom was simple, decorated in light green. It only had a bed, a 5-drawer dresser next to it with a vase on top, and nothing else even less furnished than a model home. After lying down, I realized I hadn't closed the door. Hearing movement outside, I called out, "Qin Jun, come here for a sec." A moment later, Qin Jun appeared, his hair damp, wrapped in a towel, and shirtless. I closed my eyes, not daring to look at him. "Close the door for me." Once I heard the door close, I opened my eyes. Qin Jun was standing by the bed, staring at me. I jumped in surprise. "Why are you still here?" Then I quickly pulled the covers over my head. Through the blanket, I heard Qin Jun's muffled laughter. "You only asked me to close the door, not to leave." Still under the covers, I said, "Then leave now." Qin Jun sighed and sat on the edge of the bed. "Wen Yun, why haven't you dated anyone these past 2 years?" I shifted away under the blanket. "None of your business." Qin Jun tapped my head through the covers. "If you don't tell me, I'll tickle you." That sounded a bit suggestive, but it was actually innocent. Back then, whenever I annoyed Qin Jun and he couldn't think of another way to get back at me, he'd tickle my palms and the soles of my feet. I'd always struggle and yell, "Stop tickling me!" To me, being tickled on the palms and soles was worse than being hit. When I was little, my mom would just spank my butt a few times. I immediately caved. "I just haven't met anyone I like." "Not dating isn't a crime," Qin Jun said. "Oh," then added, "I thought you were still hung up on me." I scoffed and pulled the blanket off my face. "You're pretty full of yourself, huh?" In response, Qin Jun grabbed my foot and tickled the sole mercilessly, making me laugh so hard I almost ran out of breath. Even though the room was heated, Qin Jun was sitting there shirtless. I suspected he was just trying to use his charms to seduce me. I've never been one to hold back. I reached out and touched his abs, still as firm as I remembered, and grinned. "All right, enough fooling around. Get out. And turn off the light and close the door on your way out." Qin Jun looked at me, tapped my forehead, and said, "I'm leaving. Get some sleep." When I heard noises outside in the morning, I snuggled over irritably and muttered through gritted teeth, "What's all the racket first thing in the morning? So annoying." The warm body I was leaning against held me tighter and covered my ears for me. "Huh?" Half asleep, I felt something was off. With great effort, I forced my eyes open and stared right into Qin Jun's face. I'd watched him leave last night. The bastard had sneaked back in the middle of the night. Chi. Sneaking back was one thing, but he was only wearing sweatpants. I was about to jump up like a spring and beat him up, but he rolled over and pinned me down, lowering his head to kiss me. His unique, warm, faint scent made my head spin. His heavy frame pressed down on me, nearly knocking the breath out of me. One more kiss and I'd be done for. So I opened my mouth and bit his lip. He pulled back a little. I said triumphantly, "How's that?" "I am this time." Qin Jun clamped one hand under my chin and kissed me again. I was about to kick him when there were 2 knocks on the door. My eyes widened in shock. Before I could make another sound, the door opened. Mom Qin covered her eyes in embarrassment with one hand and closed the door with the other, quickly explaining before shutting it, "Oh, I'm so sorry for disturbing you." Even after Mom Qin closed the door, Qin Jun didn't let go. Staring as wide as I could did nothing, he had his eyes closed. It was like he was making up for every kiss he'd missed in the past 2 years. When I turned red from holding my breath, panting like a bellows, Qin Jun finally released me. He touched my lip cheekily and said, "It's swollen." I pushed him away with all my strength. "Have you not kissed anyone in 800 years? Why did you kiss me out of nowhere? And your mom saw us." Qin Jun sat up, going along with my push. "Oh, didn't I agree to marry you? You have to date before getting married." I couldn't just dryly tell my mom we were getting married. She never would have believed me. I touched my mouth, huffed, and grabbed a pillow to throw at him. "You didn't have to go all out. A little kiss would have been enough." Qin Jun smiled smugly, caught the pillow, and lay back down. "That was interest. I still have to show affection in front of your parents. Did you hear me complaining? For half the family fortune. I held it in, but as soon as I stepped out of the room and saw Mom Qin, I wanted to dash back inside. Qin Jun held me back and pushed me forward. Mom Qin was a dance instructor, great figure, young looking. When she wasn't teaching, she hung out with her friends, drinking tea and getting beauty treatments. The second she saw me, she shot up from the sofa. Union, you two made up? I rubbed my hands awkwardly and smiled. Oh, yeah, Auntie. Why are you here? I almost bit my tongue right after. What a stupid thing to say, this was her son's house. Mom Qin grinned happily, took my hand, and said, Qin Jun told me you two are getting married. Why didn't you tell me you made up? After you broke up before, you stopped talking to me. You have to hang out with me more from now on. I forced a laugh and nodded randomly. Qin Jun came over, put his hand on my shoulder, and said to his mom, Mom, I'm taking Wen Yun home. Go do your thing. But Mom Qin refused to let go of me and glanced reproachfully at Qin Jun. No. Union can't leave today. I haven't seen her in almost 2 years. I'll cook today, she can stay the night. We can talk about your wedding. The word wedding was my weak spot. Trapped by Mom Qin's grip, I stayed and listened to her go on about which hotel to pick, which guests to invite, what flowers to use. I was half asleep listening when she slapped her thigh. Oh right, we have to try on wedding dresses. Union, ask your parents over for dinner in a couple of days. After that, I can take you dress shopping with peace of mind. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I looked at Qin Jun pleadingly, but he acted blind, stood up, and went to cut fruit. In just one day, Mom Qin mentally planned the entire wedding. When I finally made an excuse to go into the kitchen, Qin Jun was peeling fruit. I sidled over, pretending to wash dishes, and whispered, Your mom is wasted as a dance teacher. She could be a wedding planner. Hook her up if you have connections. Qin Jun glanced at me. Anxious now? Duh. Of course I was. I couldn't even sit still for a haircut. I'd let my hair grow super long without going to the salon. Qin Jun put down the knife. I have a way to save you. I glared at him. Why didn't you say so earlier? What is it? Qin Jun's hand, still sticky with fruit juice, grabbed my shoulder and pushed me against the fridge, leaning in close. Mom Qin, wondering why I'd been gone so long, walked in and saw us kissing passionately. She covered her eyes and left. That 200,000 from Qin Jun was now 150,000 in my mental notebook. But Mom Qin still didn't leave. She stubbornly kept me company until dinner. It snowed heavily that night, so I couldn't leave anyway. At dinner, Mom Qin made ginseng, deer antler, and chicken soup. While she was gone to get a spoon, I pinched Qin Jun hard. What is your mom trying to do? Qin Jun pried my hand off and stuffed chopsticks into it. Probably in a hurry for grandchildren. No way. I poked him with my chopsticks. Then what? Qin Jun turned to help his mom serve rice and tossed over his shoulder. You drink it for me. I quickly pulled out my phone and by duty whether it had side effects for women to drink too much of this stuff. In the end, I chugged 3 big bowls. Mom Qin stared in surprise, ladling more for me as she said, If I'd known Union liked it so much, I would have made more. I wanted to cry. Glancing at Qin Jun's second bowl, I wept inwardly. What kind of pot was this? It still wasn't empty after 5 bowls. Finally, I waddled back to Qin Jun's room with my soup-filled stomach and flopped onto the bed. Qin Jun came in, saw me and laughed. I was signaling you to drink less. Why did you chug it so hard? Do you really like it that much? Like my ass. If I didn't drink it, you would have had to. What if you couldn't control yourself? I threw a pillow at him. Qin Jun sat next to me, tucked the pillow under my head, and teased me. Which one of us can't control themselves? Wen Yun, behave tonight, or I'll tease you forever. He was too close. I slapped his handsome face. Get lost. It was almost midnight when I put my phone down. I wasn't sleepy at all. Qin Jun was checking stocks beside me. Seeing me toss and turn, he laughed. Are you making pancakes? I sat straight up. Is your mom asleep? Go sleep in the guest room. Qin Jun closed his laptop, slid into bed, and acted like he didn't hear me. So sleepy. I'm going to bed. Good night. I leaned over to yank his covers off and tell him to leave. Qin Jun pulled me straight into his arms. Since you can't sleep, let's do something fun. Maybe I really did drink too much soup. Qin Jun's kisses made my heart race. It felt weird, just like when we dated in college. I pressed my hands against his shoulders. Gee, get off me. If you kiss me again, that 150,000 is gone. Qin Jun pecked my cheek. Why 150,000? I pressed my lips together, my cheeks burning. You kissed too hard earlier, 500 deduction. Qin Jun leaned in again. I suspected he had some kind of kissing sickness. I put my hand on his forehead. No more kissing. Our relationship isn't appropriate for this. Qin Jun's eyes were hard to make out in the dim bedside lamp. He twirled my hair. What if we change to a relationship where we can kiss? One where we can do anything. That sentence was a minefield for us. After breaking up, we could never be friends because we'd really loved each other, but we never blocked or deleted each other. It was like we were both pretending to be stupid, openly ignoring the past, yet doing things that crossed the line of friendship. Qin Jun saw I was quiet and touched my face. What's wrong? He treated me so well. All my little habits were spoiled into me by him taking off my shoes in the car, needing someone to tie my scarf, him cooking for me at hotpot. So many things. He was generous with money, good looking, with a six-pack. But even so, we never mentioned getting back together, staying ambiguous, never piercing the thin paper. I pushed Qin Jun away and sat up again, tidying my messy long hair. Once unfaithful, never trusted. I don't want you. Qin Jun frowned so hard his brows almost knotted together. What are you talking about? His reaction made me furious. I snapped. When we broke up, you dated that little green tea. After you broke up with her, you came back to me. I'm being reasonable. I didn't beat you to death. That's how loyal I am. Qin Jun leaned back against the headboard and looked at me. Wen Yun, so you're jealous? Yes. I was insanely jealous. Back then, I'd been so proud to have the best boyfriend in the world, only to find out he was blind, couldn't even see through a green tea. But Qin Jun pulled me into his arms. Wen Yun, if I made you that mad, why didn't you delete me? I turned my head away, ignoring him. Qin Jun kissed my cheek. I never dated her. You're my only ex at that. I turned back. Impossible. Then why did you admit it back then? Qin Jun buried his face in my neck and laughed. Because you didn't love me, Wen Yun. Remember what you said when I asked to marry you? I fell silent, pressing my forehead against his shoulder. Half a year before college graduation, Qin Jun proposed to me. But I agreed very reluctantly, not because of him, but because I thought it was too soon. I told him, I don't want to get married. I'm still young. I haven't had enough fun yet. Qin Jun said I could still have fun after marriage, just like when we dated, but I still refused vaguely. Eventually, I got annoyed and had no argument left, so I acted spoiled. If you want to marry so bad, marry someone else. That sentence hurt deeply. I apologized later, and Qin Jun let it go. But after that, he started zoning out often, and grew closer to that green tea junior, Zuzu. I whispered softly, you were mad. So you pretended to be with her to see if I cared. Qin Jun nodded and smiled bitterly. I played with fire and got burned. Right when he got closer to the junior, we graduated. I went home in a fit of anger. Qin Jun seemed to be testing my reaction. He didn't contact me for days. I stayed home, irritable for days. When my roommates told me Qin Jun was eating alone with Zuzu, I sent him a breakup text immediately. I felt wronged. Then why didn't you come find me? Qin Jun looked up at me. Wen Yun, if you didn't love me, how could I come find you? I realized I'd never really put effort into this relationship. We got together naturally, and Qin Jun just kept treating me well. And me? I took everything for granted, never scared of losing him. I was spoiled rotten by Qin Jun. I was still stuck on why he fought for me when Qin Jun lowered his head, pressing his forehead to mine. Union, there was never anyone else. Only you. Do you want me? Maybe it was the too much soup. Maybe the room was too warm. I whispered. I do. I never deleted Qin Jun because I loved him. I never asked to see him for 2 years because I was running away. I couldn't stand the thought of him not being mine. I was scared one day he'd have another girl by his side. If I was really going to marry anyone, it could only be Qin Jun. Real or fake. The bed felt like it was on fire. Qin Jun kissed me like he wanted to devour me whole. He bit my ear softly. Union, did you miss me these 2 years? I bit my lip and didn't answer. He asked in a rough voice. Union, aren't you afraid I'm lying to you? This time I shook my head, but said out loud, I have money. If you lie to me, I'll find someone to castrate you. Qin Jun chuckled, guiding my hands to wrap around his neck, leaving no space between us. When I woke up the next day, Mom Qin was already gone. She'd left breakfast for us in the kitchen. Blushing, I opened my phone and saw she'd texted me, telling me to talk to my parents. She wanted to visit them. I honestly wasn't even sure if Qin Jun and I were officially back together. I was thinking about it when he came out of the bathroom. I quickly put my phone down and pretended to sleep. Qin Jun changed into pajamas, sat by the bed, and ruffled my messy hair. "I know you're awake. Ask whatever you want." I didn't dare open my eyes. With them closed, I asked, "Why didn't you fight for me back then?" Qin Jun didn't answer directly. It was too humiliating. "I don't really want to talk about it. But, Union, we're back together now, right?" His question caught me off guard, like I was the one who'd used him and dumped him. I got spoiled and arrogant again, rolling under the covers. "Of course we are. Who else would you be with if not me?" Qin Jun lowered his head and kissed me indulgent. "Only you. Just you." My wedding with Qin Jun was moving faster than a rocket. As soon as my parents heard we'd made up and were getting married, they put it straight on the schedule and even found a master to pick an auspicious date. Qin Jun worked in another city, but he still hadn't left even days after Lantern Festival. I was surprised. "Why haven't you left yet?" It sounded wrong, so I quickly explained. He just took the snack out of my hand and said, "I quit that job before New Year. Hurry up and get ready, I'm taking you to Pickering." I was shocked. "Why did you quit?" Qin Jun didn't answer, just pinched my cheek. "If you don't get up, I'll carry you out." I jumped up like a carp and rushed to do my makeup. On the way to the mall, I was still worrying. "Are you going to find a new job?" Qin Jun glanced at me. "What? Afraid I can't support you?" I said boldly. "Of course not. Don't worry, I'll support you." I couldn't actually support him. When I saw the ring prices, I panicked, pushing him and whispering, "Let's go." "Did you bring us to the wrong place?" Qin Jun looked confused. I pointed at the rings. "I can't afford these." Qin Jun laughed, pointed at one style to the saleswoman and said, "This one. Take it out so we can try it on." I stared, dumbfounded. I tried the ring. It was expensive enough to buy a car. Right after, Qin Jun swiped his card smoothly. Under the saleswoman's stare, even I, with my thick skin, couldn't hold Qin Jun back. In the car, I kept glancing at the box and complained, "Are you crazy? Buying such an expensive ring? Are we going to eat dirt later?" Qin Jun huffed. "I want to. I'm not like you, cheapskate. You thought 66,000 could buy me." Qin Jun didn't take me home. Instead, he brought me to his small suburban villa. We hadn't been alone since the night we got back together, and it had been over half a month. I walked in like it was my own house, only to be blinded by a sea of red roses in the living room. I turned back to look at Qin Jun. Qin Jun stood behind me, pulled out the ring we'd just bought from his pocket, and knelt on one knee. "Wen Yun, I'm asking you again. This is the last time." My throat went dry. The Qin Jun in front of me felt just like the one from 2.5 years ago. I nodded. He asked, "Wen Yun, will you marry me?" I hummed in agreement, lifting my head so I wouldn't cry embarrassingly. Qin Jun slipped the expensive diamond ring onto my finger. When I woke up the next day, Qin Jun was already gone from the bedroom. His phone was still on the pillow. Before, Qin Jun had always let me play with his phone freely, but since we got back together, he'd never offered it to me. I picked it up. It had a passcode. I randomly typed in my birthday. It unlocked. I didn't check his messages, but opened the photo album. Qin Jun's old album was full of our selfies, all the silly ones I'd taken. This phone was new. I flipped through it. Recent photos of us. The food he cooked. Me lying on the sofa. The wedding dress we picked. Shoes. Invitation designs. All of it. As I looked, my smile froze. Qin Jun's album still had all our photos from 2 years ago. Every single one. He hadn't deleted a thing. My chest felt tight and sore. But I still didn't understand why hadn't he come find me. I stared for a while, about to exit and ask him, when I saw an audio file. The cover was dark, unrecognizable. I clicked it without thinking. It was a dim street at night. Qin Jun was sitting on the curb, his face red, clearly drunk. The person filming said, "Come on, Qin the simp. Let everyone see even a handsome guy can get the girl. Talk about your simp feelings." My heart clenched. Qin Jun turned to the camera and grinned foolishly. "Yeah, I'm Wen Yun's simp. Crushed on her for a year in college. Chased her for 6 months. Dated her for 2.5 years. Then she dumped me. Ugh." The filmer seemed to be teasing him, laughing. "Why not keep chasing her?" Qin Jun covered his face with both hands. "She doesn't love me. Wen Yun doesn't love me. She only dated me for fun. She never wanted to marry me." I stared, stunned. I had no idea Qin Jun had crushed on me for a year. We were in the same department but different classes. We didn't know each other freshman year. We met at a friend's dinner sophomore year. Then Qin Jun started asking me out for meals and movies. After 6 months, we got together. I couldn't help remembering back then. After we went to the movies, Qin Jun would ask me, "Union, do you really like me?" Qin Jun walked in while I was still staring blankly at the phone. He saw what was on the screen, ruffled my hair, and said, Union, do you really like me? I'd just been too insensitive. I'd taken everything for granted, not knowing how much Qin Jun had given. I put down the phone, pinched Qin Jun's face, and said, I asked you to fake marry me on purpose. Qin Jun froze. I leaned shyly against his shoulder. I just couldn't let you go. I wanted a proper reason to see you. Qin Jun looked at me in disbelief. Union. I said yes because I want to marry you, real or fake. So, you missed me too? I nodded, looking up at him. Then what's this about a year-long crush in college? Qin Jun said he'd first seen me a week into the semester, on the stairs of the main teaching building. I'd been late, sprinting up to the third floor while on the phone. He'd just finished class and was walking downstairs with his roommate. I tripped. He reached out and caught me. Our eyes met. I quickly looked down, said a fast thank you, and ran away. Around the corner, he heard me say into the phone, oh my god, that guy is so handsome. He remembered me. I'd forgotten all about it. Later, he saw me in PE class, trying to shoot a basketball on the field. He ran into me hurrying to class, always holding a rice ball. Qin Jun figured out so many things about me. Lively, loved sleeping in, bad at taking care of myself. I pouted. You still liked me even with all that? Are you crazy? Qin Jun laughed, twisting the diamond ring on my finger. Yeah. Crazy. Liked you so much. Thought you were lively and cute. He explained. Those are just habits, not whether someone's good or not. I just thought you were special. My heart moved the second I saw you. Even the wind was telling me, I like this girl. I hit his shoulder. You planned this all along. Qin Jun chuckled. Probably no guy is as crazy about marriage as I am. Dated you 2 years and already wanted to lock you down. In the end, I just hadn't given Qin Jun enough security back then. But I was grateful I'd gone back to him. Grateful I really did love him. From the very first second we met, he'd been waiting for me in love, waiting to marry me. Qin Jun said that ever since he learned my name, he'd only ever called me Union, not Wen Yun like I thought. Back then, under the campus desk, Qin Jun walked me back to the dorm, holding my scarf and the gift he'd bought me. When we reached the dorm building, he hesitated for a long time, nervous, before whispering softly, Union, do you like me? Will you be my girlfriend? I'd been looking down, telling my roommate about the movie we'd just watched. I looked up and smiled. Okay. I'd been nervous too shy to answer his first question. I should have answered Qin Jun. He'd been holding his love, waiting for me.